Oh, I didn't want to get involved in this parkrun nonsense. It's been going on for days, if not weeks, and then yesterday, the CEO, Russ Jeffries, published an open letter where he explained or tried to justify the reasons for taking the data away, taking any competitive data away from the sites. The very foundation, the very reason that people get involved in parkrun in the first place, the very reason they get involved in exercise, they get involved in running in the first place, is to beat yesterday, is to be better than they were last week or last month, to improve. Yeah, it's social, and that's great because you're around people that are building habits in the same way that you are, and the more fun you're having there, the more likely you are to return. Since when did people get turned off because they might come last or because they might get slowest? They've even put a person in place to be the back runner, the tail runner, so that the person who's coming last will say, I didn't come last, there was a guy behind me. Yeah, but that guy worked for Parkrun. So are we assuming that not only is that person slow because they're getting into running and walking, but they're also stupid? Is that what we're assuming? Did they have a conversation later on in the day? How did you do today? How did you do at Parkrun? Second to last. Oh, great, well, at least you didn't come last. No, the conversation goes something like, I came last, but it was really last, but there's a guy behind me whose job was to come last, and therefore I didn't come last. So I've got to improve on next week. People are there for the very reason that they want to get better. It's the most inclusive place I can possibly think of, Parkrun. So I don't know these focus groups that he's talking about in the open letter to everybody, trying to justify. These focus groups, I don't know what they're thinking, and I don't know what's come out of them, and I'd love to know the data and what's actually kind of been, the data that's analyzed and the focus groups, what they've actually been saying, but I cannot imagine a group of 20 to 40 people in a room and somebody's gone, isn't this the very reason that we've been successful so far? That we have all this data in place. People can come and try to beat their personal best, the best for age group, compete with everybody in their town, compete with everybody in other parks. Isn't that the very reason why people are coming here, to try to improve? It's a free race at 9 o'clock every Saturday morning in apparently over 2,500 parks. I always brag about Parkrun being founded by Paul Hewitt and being the best initiative, not just in running, but in sports forever. And this is only under 20 years old. To think that they're going away from those initial values that have made it so successful, without a doubt, it's free. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You get it timed. You go on a site, you print off your barcode, and you go and you're in. And then you build up the amount of parks you've run, the amount of times you've run the race. 50, you get celebrated if you've done 50, you celebrate 100, 250, whatever, yeah? It's absolutely brilliant. To then just remove all the stuff that makes it appealing to the vast amount of people, so that you can make sure that somebody in a small town somewhere is going to feel included because it worries them to be judged on time or judged on pace. It's mind-blowing. That's the very reason that people get into exercise, to become slightly better than yesterday. And the more that you give them that, and the more that they can see that, and running, walking, whatever, it's always going to be against the clock. You're trying to literally go against nature. It's absolutely baffling. And then I thought, what is it? What is it about Paul? Who is this guy, Russ Jeffries? I thought, I've never heard of him before. So I go onto his LinkedIn profile and started his career in 2005. And this is not a personal attack, but I thought, he cannot be from a running background. He cannot be from a running background or any kind of competitive background, because he would understand fundamentally, and he's taken full responsibility for this decision. And probably he's argued with Paul Hewitt about this. And there's something about you can find an article on the internet where Paul Hewitt is now kind of chief executive or something like that. So he's actually below this Russ Jeffries. So I look at his CV on LinkedIn. Since 2005, he's had like 6, 7 jobs that have been 1 year, a year or thereabouts. Then started his own company, which has apparently failed, and then got into Parkrun. He's been with Parkrun he started as Parkrun as the chief communications officer, marketing background, and then started with Parkrun, and he's now the CEO. So the only thing I can think of that makes sense is that all this stuff went on last year or the year before, where somebody who was in the same position as CEO was apparently taking bribes in order to get sponsorship, in order to get exposure. I don't know what went on, but something's gone on. And it seems to me that this marketing guy has been put in place to be a puppet for maybe people more senior. That's how it seems. And a decision like this, and him coming forward and saying, yeah, I take full responsibility for it, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. So I don't know why you've written that. And it's War and Peace. And, save yourself, read it if you want, but it just talks so much about inclusivity and I get all that. It's brilliant that people can feel included, but they already do. They already do. The event is free. You go there, you run as fast or as slow as you want. You're around people that will support you. Runners will naturally support other runners and walkers. It's as simple as that. Nothing needs changing. So if you've got targets to hit, you want to grow the park, as it says in this, double the size in 5 years, not only the size of the number of parks, but also the number of participants and revenue target of 20 million. That's not quantified in the article, so I don't know what that is. It's the wrong direction. It's completely against human nature. If you put, I'll say this as a final thing, if you put 10 5-year-olds on a football field and you give them a ball, at 5 years old, within 5 minutes, they will have the most competitive game going, meaning that they will say, you go over there, you come over it, you come over there, and they will make the most competitive game because they know at 5 years old, it's innate within us that the most competitive game is the most fun. We know from publications, from studies, that if a target is too far away, if it's out of reach, if the carrot is too far away, we're going to get bored very quickly. If it's too easy, we're going to get bored very quickly again. The target needs to be within reach. It needs to be something that you can see. And that's why a competitive game like that works so well. And that's why competing against yourself works so well as well. If you just go a little bit faster than last week, for instance, just as an analogy, not always trying to go faster and faster every week. If it worked like this, we'd all be the fastest runners in the world. 10 5-year-olds on a football pitch would be able to tell you this is the wrong decision. And it's just mind-blowing, the entire concept. And the thing that I rave about on this channel, about it being the best initiative, not just in running, but in sports, all that is being taken away because it's offensive to those people. It's offensive to the people who are going to be offended about anything that rattles their cage, their specific cage in their specific, but just somewhere. It's just, why are we moving at the slowest person's pace? Everything I'm proud about from being from the UK, because that was founded in the UK, everything that makes me proud to be from there makes me angry at the moment, because we're losing track of what really counts and we're getting behind, not just in sport, but in every field. And there's going to be a rude awakening very soon. But yeah, pisses me off.